This is warm-up with Ms. Williams for the plaintiff and Mr. Auerbacher for defense. And be sure that's what it said there. Yes, and to identify, I am Ms. Williams for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am Mr. Auerbacher for defense.
Okay, so we're beginning in 20. All right, and Ms. Williams is examining for the record. When was the last time prior to the night of the automobile accident when you had spoken to Deborah Hittinger about her previous injuries?
About 3 nights before that.
Do you recall more specifically that conversation?
She was seeing a chiropractor and she was just wondering if she was going to get better or if the medication was working. And I believe she was on, it was Robaxin she was on.
It was what?
Robaxin.
What part of her body was it that she was receiving chiropractic care for?
Her whole back, neck and back.
I'd like to put an objection on the record here as well.
Is that what she told you?
Yes.
My objection is her position of knowledge, how she's aware.
I think she just answered that. Is that what she told you?
She told me in English about her back.
When you said she just told you in English, is there another language that she usually used?
No, I mean something that I understand that wasn't confusing.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
I want to go back to the half a beer that you consumed that night. Was it a bottle, out of a bottle?
Yes.
12-ounce bottle or an 8-ounce bottle?
I don't know. The regular bottle.
The regular bottle of beer?
Yes.
Is there anyone who was at the bar that evening that you know of that could attest to the fact, as you've just testified, that all you had to drink was a half a bottle of beer?
Probably the bartender, if I knew who he was.
And again, I think I've already asked you this, but do you recall the names of those 3 bartenders that you said would usually be there?
I'm trying to remember. One is Lou. I don't remember his last name, Tom, and I don't remember.
So you remember 2, Lou and Tom. Was it either Lou or Tom that was there that night?
I honestly couldn't tell you. Buddy?
Buddy, is that what you said?
Buddy.
Do you know if Lou, Tom, or Buddy still work there?
I don't know.
Did Lou, Tom, and Buddy know you by your name?
Yes.
Oh. I don't think I have any other questions.
I just have a couple. I believe that you had stated that you had seen Miss Hittinger about 10 times at the bar in the prior year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, had you ever seen her anywhere else besides the bar?
No.
So you don't know if her eyes were naturally droopy or not, do you?
On that night, they were.
But you don't know if her eyes were droopy naturally during the day?
She had not had them droopy on other occasions.
I thought you said when you had seen her before, she had always had droopy eyes.
I don't think I said that.
No, she didn't say that. That misstates the testimony.
What do you consider droopy eyes and not droopy eyes? Where is the mark of demarcation between droopy and not droopy?
There's a natural droopiness, and there's a part when your eyes are too heavy. Your eyes are halfway.
There's a natural droopiness and
intoxicated.
what else? I've never heard that.
I don't know what the difference is.
But yet you can recognize it?
When it's that obvious, yes.
Then if you can recognize it, then can you tell me what the difference between a natural droop and...
No, I can't.
So you don't know if her droopy eyes were a natural droopiness?
It was unnatural for her.
How do you know that?
Because I've seen her with regular eyes before.
Had you seen her with natural droopy eyes before?
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm just trying to clarify this for myself. You said there's natural droopy eyes.
We're talking about her eyes. Her eyes were droopy on that day.
And I'm trying to find out, how do you know they were droopy?
Because I had seen them when they were not droopy.
Didn't you say there was a natural droopiness?
I'm going to object as argumentative. It's getting to the point of being argumentative. I think you've created a list of questions to try to find something and then turned it around.
No, I'm trying to find for my own clarification. She said she could tell her eyes were droopy because of intoxication, and I want to know how she can make that evaluation.
I didn't say intoxication. I said medication probably enhanced the alcohol, which made her eyes droopy.
Right, so you are basing your belief that her eyes were droopy based on something that she had ingested?
Probably.
Probably. So they could have been naturally droopy?
Is that a question?
There's a question mark at the end of that.
I don't know that answer.
Okay, thank you. You said she had a mixed drink in front of her, and you also said you didn't know what it was, but it was a mixed drink?
Right.
How did you know it was a mixed drink?
Because when there's two things in a glass, it has to separate. You wouldn't stir something that was straight. And she was always stirring her drink before she drank it.
If you have a soda, I don't drink, but I've been in a bar. If you have a soda and the ice melts, it's separated.
I'm going to object since your client conceded that she was drinking mixed drinks that night.
I want to know how she...
I reiterate my previous objections that she was a passenger, so I don't know why that matters.
It doesn't matter if my client was falling down drunk, but it does have bearing on the rest of the credibility of this particular witness. You're making statements that you're presenting as a fact, and I just want to know what you're basing it on.
What's the question?
The question is, how do you know it was a mixed drink and not a soda?
She answered it.
It was separated, and you always stir a drink before drinking it.
So you're basing your opinion because Ms. Hittinger was stirring her drink?
That's what she said.
I've sat here and let you ask 90% of your questions,
You bet you have. It's my deposition.
and I have the right to ask mine.
You do. It's been asked and answered, but I have a right to object.
Why don't you ignore her objections and keep going?
Which he could do. I have made my objection, asked and answered.
Is that how you determined it was a mixed drink, because she constantly stirred her drink?
Also, because every time she was there, she only ordered mixed drinks. She didn't order beer.
So what did she order?
Probably a screwdriver.
Why do you say probably?
Because there was always orange juice in something.
How do you know it was something?
Because she always ordered mixed drinks.
Because she always ordered mixed drinks. Excuse me, you said you never heard what she had ordered?
I heard before, not on that occasion, but prior occasions, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, the testimony you gave is that you never heard before, but they were always mixed drinks?
No, she drank a mixed drink whenever she drank.
And how do you know that?
Because I've heard her order drinks on prior occasions.
What does she order?
I just told you, a screwdriver.
I think that's fine. I have nothing else.
I have just a couple questions. You told us you were an LVN.
Yes,
As an LVN, did you receive any special training in observing and recognizing symptoms of intoxication in people?
yes.
What kind of training did you receive?
We're used to doing what's called a pearl check, the pupil's reaction to light.
That's the pupil's reaction to light.
Yes.
Can you describe that to me? Your training in that and what you know about that?
Well, I work in the emergency room, and any neuro exam consists of that head to toe evaluation. Part of the head being that they are oriented and the pupils reacting to light, but you need a flashlight to do that. Other obvious signs are the slurred speech, thickness in speech, and droopy eyes.
Are those things that you were taught in your training as an LVN, the part about the slurred speech and the droopy eyes?
Yes, that's part of it.
Any other symptoms you were taught to learn?
Your gait, which is your walking, and the odor itself.
When I say intoxication, you understand I don't mean just alcohol, but anything that affects the body in that way.
Right.
Were you trained in any way to specifically recognize the effects of intoxication from alcohol as opposed to other substances?
Yes.
What were you taught in that regard?
Well, if you have a narcotic substance of something like PCP, you have a different nystagmus. When there's alcohol or cocaine, you have different symptoms.
What are the different symptoms?
Well, cocaine,
I'm going to object. I'm going to let her answer. You cannot force a lay witness to become an expert in the case, and it seems it's gravitating in that direction. I'll let this line of questioning go on, and then I'm going to object that she's not an expert witness.
Well, I don't think she probably wouldn't even be qualified as an expert in this area, so I don't think that's a problem. But she certainly would have some background and training, and that's why I'm trying to establish that to back up her observations. That's all. Could you describe to me again what you were trained to observe in the way of distinguishing intoxication from alcohol as opposed to other substances?
I gave you the descriptions as far as alcohol. Cocaine is mostly rapid heartbeat and a fear that a patient has. PCP is more of a violent drug, and the nystagmus is different.
What is the nystagmus that you're describing?
The bouncing of the eyes that shows one's intoxicated. I know that now. I was not a nurse when this happened.
That was my next question. How long have you been an LVN?
A licensed nurse I've been since '91.
Now, you emphasized license. What were you before?
I was a medical technician,
For how many years?
11 years in medical transcription.
No further questions.
Nothing further.
Should we then stipulate to relieve the court reporter of her statutory duties, that the deposition transcript, the original, will be sent to Ms. Magdalena's counsel, and we will be advised, this office will be advised within, off the record for a minute, within 30 days of any changes or corrections in the transcript. If we are not so advised within that time frame, then a copy of the deposition transcript may be used for any purpose.